So negative pressure may siphon the liquid trap seal. Positive pressure may even force gases through the liquid seal. So they're pretending that he removed a tennis ball and a vent stack, which created problems throughout the entire DWV system. What was perceived as a blockage is a drain in the drain was a blockage in the vent. Ideally, all residential fixtures should be individually vented and tie into the DWV system. Most plumbing codes require it. In other areas, low-rated fixtures such as lavatories, showers, bathtubs, and sinks may have a combination waste and vent system. The combination waste and vent system is a unique one-pipe system which both vents and receives waste from some plumbing fixtures. Venting systems can get complicated, especially in commercial buildings. It takes a plumbing engineer to design the system properly. And here's a quick video on how P-trap works.
If you notice a lot of extra piping under your sink, then you're looking at the P-trap. P-traps are named after their shape. They use a small bend in the pipe to trap water, creating a seal. This trap seal prevents sewer gases and odors from leaking into your home. As water drains through the P-trap, air is pulled from an outside vent to equalize the pressure. Now, if the vent is blocked by snow, ice, or debris, then the trap seal could be sucked out with the draining water. When this happens, you might hear a gurgling sound as air is pulled through the sink drain, and you might start to smell sewage coming out of that sink. Without access to outside air, the vacuum in the system might pull air from another plumbing fixture. For example, flushing the toilet could pull air from the sink, removing the water from the trap. So if you smell sewage out of the sink drain after flushing, this could be a sign of a larger ventilation issue. S-traps are similar to P-traps, but are no longer installed in homes because they have the potential to lose the trap seal. If enough water travels through an S-trap, it will create a continuous channel through the pipe and will siphon the water out of the trap. Fortunately, an S-trap can be retrofitted into a P-trap by adding a trap arm with proper access to an air vent. Additionally, a buildup of waste can also create problems. Strands of fabric and hair along the pipe can cause water to slowly leak out of the trap through capillary action. This is why it's important to keep the P-trap clear of debris. Hopefully, this has given you a better
So that kind of gives us an idea of how that P-trap works and what it's meant for. So now we understand the basics on P-traps and venting on residential systems, and we've learned how to diagnose smell problems. So before we take this next call, I just want to share this with you guys. It's our code book that I want to share something with you guys on. Sorry, give me 1 second. I can share this link with you, or you guys can. I just have it on my computer. Screen. So it's our, uniform plumbing code. This is an online copy of it. You can type in here. So we were in chapter 10. And I think it was 1004. So it'll take us straight to chapter 10. Oh, let me just find that code real quick. For you guys, working on getting your license, this book, it really helps with a lot of things. So let me just get to the area where we were talking about earlier and how easy it is to kind of learn. So let me make sure we can all read this. Okay, so these are the traps we were looking at earlier. They show you each. That was the anti-siphon trap. I just found some different pictures of some of them because they're easier to kind of explain. But if we go back to the code, which was this code here. Sorry, I know it's hard to see on your phones or whatever, but I'll try and zoom up on it. So this is where I found the code. So in normal code books, all you would get is this code right here. So me and Ken, we bought an illustrated version of the code book, and what that illustrated version comes with is it comes with an explanation that's highlighted in blue here. On it explains everything in this code. So, and it'll give you also a picture of what that was talking about. So if you go to figure 0041, which I think is on the next page. So it's talking about, this drum trap right here, if we refer to it that way. So I just wanted to share this because for those of you who are thinking about, trying to learn code and everything, this one does come with pictures, and it comes with an X because, when you go into codes, all you see is the black. You don't see this blue, you don't see this wrench symbol in the regular code books. So I think it's very, I think it's a better way of trying to learn things, because when I'm going through some codes, sometimes, it's even tough for me to kind of understand what the hell they're talking about in there. But then they have all these explanations on, why that code was made that way, why things are not allowed to be used, nowadays, why it's, why it was taken away, why it doesn't work the way, it used to, and when it used to be okay. But it talks about, the bell trap that we talked about earlier, the crown vented traps. And, it's just endless with this thing. I found this link online, and it gives you the whole book. But I mean, you have to have, internet to be able to see it. But if you guys do, and I hope you guys do, but if you guys do get a code book, I would get this illustrated version, because it really, it does explain things that you won't find in that normal code book. I don't know about you, but I always learn better with pictures. We got any questions so far? All right. Let's get a screenshot real quick.
Do Oahu guys run into Sovent systems? You guys ever seen that?
Yeah, we were gonna get into solvents once we get into commercial side. But yeah, I'm sure Oahu sees tons of it. You know, the high rises and
I have a question for the call takers.
okay.
When receiving calls, how often do you guys get that smell call?
For me, pretty often.
For me, not too often.
Yeah. And at least now you have like kind of an understanding of where it may originate from. You know, not to try and diagnose over the phone because, you know, that becomes a problem in itself, but at least you guys understand and can maybe come up with some, you know, it's just, I think more of just a different understanding for you guys to be aware of how these things occur. Interesting. Everybody understands how to siphon or has had some form of experience with siphoning something, whether it's from a bucket or fuel or whatever, but it's the same thing that happens, you know, if a vent is plugged and what Josh was talking about with the S-trap. That's all I wanted to share.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of wanted to turn it into more of a, you know, we take it from the call taker first, you know, because they take the calls every day and it'd be good to, because, you know, we do have new guys. We have, you know, older guys that have been here for a while. So hopefully it'll kind of help them on having to know who's the right guy is to send to certain things. They're able to kind of diagnose, you know, they could even converse with each other, you know, dispatcher and tech be like, oh, I think it's a P trap, you know, then, and maybe it'll help dispatchers getting plumbers prepared, you know, kind of remind them like, oh, make sure you have these things on your van and stuff or whatever. Just kind of make them aware of what may be coming up. But that's how I wanted to hopefully keep it in that sense, and being that that's how we usually run every day. Goes through we get the call, and I was always famous. I mean, that was my one thing is I would always try and pre-diagnose before I even get there, so that, you know, I'm not kind of spinning my wheels, you know, making sure that I have what I need. But let's move on. All right, let's take our next call. Chelsea, can you read this for us?
Aloha, thank you for calling Allen's Plumbing, where we provide only the best plumbing services 24/7 in Hawaii. How may we help and be of service for you today?
And let's get Pare. Pare, read this for us, Pare.
Hi, my name is Joseph. My downstairs bathroom is backed up. I need a plumber right away.
All right. All right. Got our next call. Downstairs bathroom is backed up. Need a plumber right away. All right. So if a bathroom has a blockage, an experienced drain and sewer cleaner will run water in all three fixtures. If only one fixture has a stoppage, then it's a simple matter to clean the individual fixture. If all three fixtures are blocked, chances are the blockage is below the water closet where all three fixtures interconnect. The access points for cleaning purposes are vent stacks, water closet, and the clean out if available. Removal of the water closet is usually wise. The pipe can be cleaned from this access point. So this picture I'm going to bring up, if we notice the main vent stacks, seeing that it is the heart of the system, everything connects to the main stack. If we look at the bottom of I'll bring up the illustration, but and so if we look at the bottom of the illustration, we'll find the house sewer of what is called in the trade a lateral. If everything in the house is blocked, the block is usually at the lateral. The entire DWV system ties into the lateral. If this pipe is blocked, the entire system is inoperable. Keep in mind that some flow is possible until all the pipes are filled with water waste. It may be possible for upstairs fixtures to work, but if they do, is at the expense of the downstairs fixtures. So the fixtures on the first floor are most likely backing up to relieve the pressure coming in from the fixtures upstairs if the lateral is blocked. So this is what they're talking about, the main stack right here. This is the main stack. Everything ties into it, and same thing down here. So anything past that, this line is what they're talking about being the lateral. Everything past all the fixtures. Everything usually comes towards, the toilet, because the toilet is on the bigger line. So let's begin by examining a residential bathroom, because bathroom blockages are so common. Most residential DWV systems use a gravity flow which carries water from the lavatory and the bathtub to the pipe where the water closet connects, which we just talked about. The water closet is near where the venting to the outside takes place. If the fixtures are individually vented, they tie into the vent stack. Bathroom fixtures usually tie in near the water closet. So just like we talked about earlier, everything is probably mainly going to run towards where the toilet is, because it'll probably be on the bigger line.
Josh.
Yo.
Explain what a water closet is.
Oh, sorry. That's another term for a toilet. Just like a bathroom sink, they call it a lavatory. But toilets have a lot of, and people use different names for toilets, like from different countries. They call it commodes. They call it johns. The shitter, I don't know. There's all kinds of names for it, but in plumbing terms, water closet is known as the toilet. So how do we determine what's backed up? So we just talked about it. We got to the job. It's the first thing we see. So first thing we do is take a look at which fixture or first we take a look and see which fixture or fixtures is holding back water. Run water in all fixtures around the backed up fixture to see if it causes a rise in water level in the fixture that is holding the water. If water rises, we could be dealing with a lateral backup. If water does not rise, we know that we're dealing with a fixture branch line before the lateral. Oh, sorry, let me just go back real quick. So we've got to the house. We see that the toilets on the shower is backed up. So like we talked about in the, now we start flushing toilets, anything that's close, kitchen sinks, lavatories. If there's another bathroom on the other side, you want to start running all those things to see, if you get a rise in that water. And then if you don't, that it's just a shower that is affected. But if you do, then you're dealing with a mainline stoppage or a lateral blockage. So most backups, when you walk up to a system, especially if it's a mainline, is you're going to see water in a bathtub, because it is the lowest part of the whole drain system. So water level is only going to rise at a certain level. You're not going to get a full tub of water, without it coming over the rim of the toilet. So you always got to remember when you're walking into certain jobs is that the water level is going to be the same in the whole system. Water cannot be higher in this sink if this thing is all backed up. It's going to show up in this tub first. If you got a floor drain on the ground, you're going to see it come through the floor drain from first. If you see your sink overflowing, there's no sense in doing your diagnostics, especially if you see, there's a drain lower than the sink. That sink is backing up, it's just a sink. Same thing with the toilet. If the toilet's overflowing, you don't see water in this tub, first thing you'd probably want to check is if the drain is plugged in the tub or whatever's. But that's one way to kind of identify you're dealing with a mainline stoppage, is if you start to see water in the tub, that's when you just start flushing everything around you. So just remember, water stays level. It doesn't make itself higher in some areas, or just remember, you're always dealing with level water. Okay. Okay, so we did our diagnosis. We've confirmed it's a stoppage in the lateral. So how should we proceed with the problem? So in dealing with the main line, we ran all our sinks. We're starting to see the tub fill up with water. So now we're dealing with the main line. So now we need to find an access point where we can effectively cable this drain. So first we want to try and walk around the house and see if we can find one of these, which is called a mainline cleanout. You'd find them at the end of plumbing systems. You find them at the beginning of plumbing systems, but you want to walk around the yard, especially around, the bathroom window. You don't want to be walking around the living room area of the outside of the house, because, but it could be there, but, you want to walk in the most obvious areas of where plumbing is, which could be around the restrooms, or out in the front by, your water meter. The other thing you could try and clear it through is a water stack cleanout, which is a cleanout tee that's above ground. You just open this cap, you can go right down it from there. Or the famous toilet drain, which Maui guys are famous for. If they kind of take a brief walk around it, and it's good that they do, they get the toilet off, now that, they're able to see if there's other things that could be going on with that toilet drain. But, I have noticed that the drain guys, they kind of just, I'm not going to go hunting around the bushes for a clean out. I know I can get it through this toilet, just to make up time on that. So the toilet is another great access to get into the lateral line. So we'll go through this real quick. So removing a toilet to get into the drain. First, you want to shut off your water supply behind the toilet, which is that angle stop it's usually on the left side. Remove the water supply line from the tank. Flush and vacuum excess water from the toilet. Your wet vac. You can just, some, old school guys, they use sponges and buckets, but we're living in new times. These vacuums are smaller, they're easier to deal with. So vacuum any excess water out of the toilet. Cut any caulking away from the base of the toilet. And then this is important right here, because you go to pull this toilet off, you could be ripping up tile and everything like that. And the thing is, just try and cut the caulking and not the floor. Yeah. Remove the tank bolts to get the tank off. And the tank bolts are located right under the top rim of the toilet. Remove nuts from the flange bolts. And then, once you got those nuts off the flange bolts, you want to kind of rock the toilet back left to right to kind of break the seal. And, if it's still kind of stuck, you want to get deeper in there with your knife to kind of cut that that caulking seal at the bottom of the toilet here. Just get a putty knife. You kind of just keep stabbing it in there. When the toilet is free from the floor, you want to lift the toilet straight up, keeping it level to avoid spillage from excess water. So when you're lifting up a toilet, you don't want to just, there could still be water in this trap here. So you end up spilling. So if you lift it just straight up after you've tried to vacuum most of it out, you shouldn't have any spillage. Place toilet on a mat or cardboard. And you want to kind of just tilt it on its side so you can remove and scrape away all the old wax. And one good practice to get into is you want to scrape all that old caulking too around that rim. That way you have, when you go to set it back, it's a fresh, it's like setting a brand new fixture back down, you're starting from fresh. So you want to scrape this edge with your putty knife. You want to get all this wax out of here and just clean up the whole bottom of this toilet. It just makes things easier when putting it back. You're not dealing with all this, garbage on the bottom. And then the same thing with the floor. I always hate when we have toilets pulled and the wax ring is still there. I don't know why it stays on there, but clean this all off. Putty it off first. Get a rag, paper towels, and just clean it off, because when you go to snake this drain and there's wax all over the place, then you end up stepping in it or whatever. First thing you want to do before you even start working with the drain is get rid of that wax around the flange. And then the same thing on the floor here. You see that caulking line here from the old toilet. And you just got to be careful on certain floors. You want to stay more on the inside to kind of just try and scrape it off, but you want to try and get all of this off also. And then again, get that wax out of there and, get it thrown away and out of there, because you do not want to be working with wax all over your stuff. And then we'll stop right there. So we'll get more into the other things and how to deal with, how to deal with a lavatory drain stoppage, a shower drain stoppage, kitchen drain stoppage, laundry stoppage, anything other, that we would find in a residential type of deal. And then after that, we'll go into commercial style plumbing and how to deal with certain things like this. But we got any questions? Oh, I didn't even see the chat. Do wild guys run into solar systems? Yeah.
Hey, is that angle valve always on the left? Is it plumbing code?
No, it's not always on the left.
Is it?
Sure. I've seen them on the right.
Like on brand new installations that were approved?
Not on brand new. Maybe like back in, your days.
Oh, that was just last week.
But do you have an answer for that? Or are you just trying to trick us?
No, I just wanted to throw it out there as a question.
Told you about throwing me on the spot, Doug.
It's sorry. I'll make a comment about that wax ring thing. When you guys dispose, make sure you take the rubbish with you. Don't use the customer's toilet, rags, anything in their bathroom. There's nothing like doing an excellent job and snatching somebody's rag because you weren't prepared and getting that phone call later. That is one stupid ass phone call. I'm just telling you right now. The other thing is filling up their trash can with that gross wax ring. So just take it with you. Make sure the bathroom's cleaner or just as clean as it was when you got there, if not cleaner. That's the only comment I'm going to make about that.
And one thing too about snatching rags. Especially in Hawaii, we all have this, everybody has this closet full of old towels and stuff like that. It's all right to ask, you're trying to help the situation, you're trying to keep their shit clean. But, I always ask, if I don't have a rag and they see all this crap all over, I'll be like, hey, you got a rag I can borrow or whatever. But don't just snatch their flowery tasseled towel off the rack.
That's murder in some houses.
Especially in the Filipino houses.
Tommy Bahama bath towels that you stay using for mop up their bathroom.
That or even the Filipino houses. Those towels in the bathroom is decoration, but they don't use those. So, it's always good to ask, like, hey, you guys got any? And I always, I always get lucky with customers like, oh yeah, I get plenty. Let me bring them to you. And then let them bring that to you don't steal it from them, you know, because now it just makes you like, that was my favorite towel that I bought from Ross. But
I thought those were to wipe the okole when you ran out of toilet paper.
Dude, would you do that in your house? Your wife would murder you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Could I make a comment?
Sure.
I buy those 4-gallon size plastic bags. And so once I take the toilet off, I use that right around the flange to pull it off. And I take at least 2 or 3 with me. And so I just dump them in there. And Costco sells a package of those, like about 1 foot square rags. Well, I don't know how much, you know, keeps you out of trouble.
True that. Yeah. Yeah. It's good to have your own little trash bags. I know some of our drain guys here, they have all these tiny little trash bags. And, you know, it's worth it to have because, I mean, where else are you going to put that wax drain? And like Ken said, you know, you don't want it to end up in the customer's bathroom trash can. Because to us, it's just wax. But to a customer, they're like, did you just throw that crap in my trash can? They don't know what it is. So other than that, we're at 7:55. Thank you guys for coming today. And we will move on again next Tuesday. And thanks, Connie, for letting me take this day, man.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Great job. Appreciate it.
Thank
Learned a lot today.
Josh.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.